Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, the Rumpled One. It's February the 23rd, 2017. I'm going to do another video on the real-time price analyzer. I made a couple of improvements and fixes, and I'll probably be releasing this in batch 3 sometime next week in March. So just doing some more testing, debugging, and if I think of anything new, I'm adding it. So let me just show you once again what it's all about. Well, see, we got basically a blank chart here. I've got the buttons so I can change the pairs and the time frame, and then just a little time indicator, and then the B clock, the countdown, and the magnified market price. But let's just look here. We can see price is right around the low, close minus low, 4, 5, 6 pips. You can see here on these daily candles, it's broken out of yesterday's low. So basically, what that's saying is it's in the lower wick zone, or beyond the lower wick zone. It's already broken out. So you might be wondering, okay, so what? What are we going to do? So you can see here, you can just look at the chart. You can see we've got a down candle, a bear candle, a red candle. Price is down, open, and it's down here. You can see here it's just kind of waffling at the moment. So what would we do? How do we know what price is going to do from here? Well, based on my frequency distributions, we know usually this number is going to be 20 or more at the end of the day, and usually this number is going to be 20 or more at the end of the day. Okay, in other words, price usually retreats. There was a day here it wasn't. But if you look at most of these days, you can see that the top and bottom wicks, or wicks and tails, are usually pretty big. So basically right now, when this number is less than 20, that's considered the rat zone, the green rat zone. We're looking to buy. And when this number is less than 20, that's the red rat zone. We'll be looking to sell. So what does the price analyzer do for us? Well, we already know chances are this number is going to be, bigger than 20. So what the real-time price analyzer does is it takes a look at the different levels. And in this case, what I'm looking at is I'm looking at the pivot levels. So you can see right now, close is above S2. Okay. You can also see close is above MS2, or the midpoint between right here, the midpoint between S1 and S2. When these numbers are in the magenta color or pink, whatever your eyes see, that means it's true right now. So in other words, the high has been greater, or is greater than S1, S2. Okay. The close has been less than S1, S2, so that was a true statement. And right now you can see here it's less than, it's dropped. Close is greater than S2, and close is greater than S2, S3, which is the midpoint right here. And so what this indicator is telling me is that out of the last 100 days, close has been greater than S1, S2 85 times, or 85%. Close greater than S1, S2. So right here, So in other words, you want to look for an opportunity to take a long entry and trade to this number. So you can see right here, this number is 113.07. I'm sorry, 113.007. It's still early here. It's 5:50 a.m. my time. So let's just say if close gets below here, we're going to be looking at these percentages to see what our quote-unquote odds are of price closing above these levels. It's just like yesterday. You probably can't see it too well here. I've got this chart as wide and as tall as possible, but there was a missed pivot and price was closed up here. It came down and hit the pivot, but that missed pivot from a day ago, it got taken out today. So if you've watched those missed pivot or videos, you'll know that the yen in particular likes to take out pivots. At yesterday, last night, there was 2 missed pivots. This was one of them, and then there's another one up here around 114 something. And I said probably by the end of the week, at least one of those pivots would be taken out, if not both. So we see that the one was taken out. Oh, the 2% Club, my chat room is open again. So you guys are invited. In fact, it's probably it's open right now as I'm making this video. I'll be posting this video soon. So if you happen to see this video within the next couple of hours or the rest of the day, pop on in the chat room, the 2% Club at Pal Talk. It's free, so you're all welcome to join in. So once again, this is how you use the real-time price analyzer. So you can sit here, if it drops below S2, see it's got a pretty good chance of closing above S2. Okay? So in other words, you might want to take a long trade there, because you see we're still in the rat zone. And so 20 plus 90 would put us at 113.10, which would put us above the MS2. And so that's which is this. So that's saying you got a pretty good chance of hitting that. I mean, that's basically how simple it is. And I usually use this on the daily, especially when I'm doing pivots, because you might be in the trade for a few hours. I'm not really using this for a scalp indicator, though if you want to drop down to the hour and see what it's doing, you can. But at that level, I use other indicators. This is more of a long-term, what are my odds are indicator. So I hope that helps. Once again, and using this indicator, I'll be sending out these different templates. I'll probably put a note here saying, in fact, I can just do that now. Real-time price analyzer, your note here. I'll just say pivot point or pivot points. And so that way you can set up a bunch of templates and you can write there, you can write yourself a little note. And let's see, dollar CAD had some news. So let's take a look at this one. So you see here, high greater than R2 16% of the time, less than R2 93% of the time, less than R1 79% of the time, and R1 is right here. So you can see we're in the red rat zone. So a short around here would probably at least get you to here. And it's telling you got about an 87% chance based on what's happened over the last 100 days. And so the ask is below R2 by 2 pips, and it's above the R2 R1 by 12 pips. Oh, and in case you're wondering, what I did here in the TRO spread dots indicator, I'll have to send out the new version, or I have to post it at Crestlick in the mother loads. You can say, is the ask box on the left, is the bid box on the left? So instead of everything being on the right and this box interfering with these boxes, I moved it over to the left. Now you notice there's only one, so what I did was here, instead of having the ask showing, I just said color none, so it's only showing the bid. I guess I should probably make these a little more descriptive now that I see that. So I guess I have some work to do there. Okay, so that's about it. As far as psychology, I guess, one of the things is greed. We all want to hit that home run, but it's tough. I mean, I feel pretty fortunate if I bag over 10 pips. I mean, I really do. It just seems like it's a struggle. And probably part of the reason it's a struggle, at least for me, is I trade reversals. So I'm going against the daily bias. Right here, it's up and I'm looking to go short here just to take that little bit. So, but sometimes I can catch the whopper. I mean, if I would have played the green rat zone here earlier, I would have caught a nice whopper, but not usually. I might catch one, maybe two a month, but on a day-to-day, trade by trade basis, it doesn't behoove me to try and do that. So you really have to know what you're going for. A lot of times you'll jump into trade and it's like, okay, if I can get 3 or 5 pips, I'm pretty. That's a good trade, because 3 to 5 pips, depending on which pair I'm trading, actually brings me 0.1% in a trade. Now that doesn't sound like much, but when it adds up, and I'm not even talking compounding, I'm just talking about adding up. In other words, you're making 0.1%. If you do that every day, at the end of the week, you've made 0.5% on your money, and at the end of the month you've made 2%, and at the end of the year you've made 24%. So if you can return 24% per year year after year, that would put you in the it's one of the highest ranking money managers. I mean, it's just that simple. So when you look at the return per trade, it doesn't have to be that much. So if you don't know that number, I modified the eye exposure indicator, and I think I put it out there on Crestlick.com. But you can use that to say, hey, you know what? I just made 0.1%. That's great. So, fellow traders, just remember, it's not what you trade. It's how you trade it. The Rumpled One, I'm going to go back, signing off here, and I'm going to go back to draining the banks.